Well, hello, my darlings. How are you? Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. How are you all doing? When I tell you that I have missed you all, I'm for real. I missed y'all. I missed y'all. I really did. Oh my goodness. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back. It's funny because Donna is saying that I forgot about you all. I did not. I thought I scheduled the stream for 1:15, but I scheduled it for 1:10, so that's my fault. I've been busy, busy, busy today. Yes, let me put up a banner. Someone is always, reminding me of a banner. Okay, so there's the banner. So yes, I am back. I am back, and again, I missed you all. When you have family in town, family, they're gonna take over your whole life. Okay, family is going to take over your whole life the time that they are there with you. And when I tell you, last week I have been gallivanting and eating good and gallivanting and eating good. Praise God that family went home yesterday. Okay, praise God. Because family just came over and took over. And I didn't think my feet would hurt from walking around every outlet mall, every store. Uh, my feet were hurting last week because when I tell you we were outside last week, especially because the weather was so nice here in Silicon Valley last week. You know, I had my feet out in my sandals. You know, but yes, I am back. I miss you all. Let me get some shout outs to people because you all are here. Mel is here. Sleepy B says she's gonna catch the playback. I hear you, girl. Donna, thank you for that. Love Joy, TMKC, Julia Sutton, Mons, Ari Saves Lives. Yeah, I really missed you all. I'm just like, man, they're here, we're outside. Then by the time we got back, it was just time to eat and just lay down in the bed. So, I've been outside last week. I ate good. I'm tired. Yesterday we stayed in the bed all day yesterday. Me and Mr. Hoodle, we were in the bed all day yesterday watching Netflix, trying to recoup from last week. Super spicy spice. Super spicy spice. Girl, hush. Oh, you had family leave this morning? Listen, I mean, I done had tacos. We had oxtails, rice and pigeon peas, plantains. I done had Mississippi pot roast and loaded mashed potatoes. We went to the restaurant, going out to eat. I've been through the mall, eating the pretzels from the mall, just outside, just outside, right? So listen, been outside and was eating and been outside and was eating and been outside. So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, so I'm back. And today, if you don't know what today is, then I'm going to let you all know. Today is the day the Boston Marathon has either already happened or it's still in progress. And today we are going to examine the astrological chart of the 2013 Boston Marathon, okay, and the tragic domestic terrorism act that was enacted at the Boston Marathon in 2013. So we're going to look at that astrologically. Okay, we're going to look at that astrologically because I don't know if you all remember when I said that I have a theory with regard to um domestic tea events here in the United States, especially as it pertains to um the explosive word, the word that starts with a B. And we're going to examine that today. We're going to examine this chart today. So, give me a second. Let me get this chart pulled up and we're going to get right into it. And thank you all for being here with me. But yeah, we're going to get into it. So give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, I'm back. Texas Toy said, "We outside and we eat. We outside and yup, that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was." Okay, so let me pull in the astrology software again. I am happy to be back with you all. I really am because I missed you all. I feel like I missed everything that was happening on YouTube last week, and I don't like that. I'm nosy. I like to be in the know too. So, you know, I don't like that. I don't like missing out. I'm nosy. If we can get StreamYard to act correct. Okay. StreamYard is acting real silly right now. Give me a sec. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. I may have to go out and come back in. I may have to refresh. Listen, I'm tired of this Mercury retrograde messing everything up because I can't even get this to open now. This is insane. Yeah, StreamYard is acting weird. It won't even let me present. Oh my goodness. Hold on one second. Hold on. Because baby, this is foolishness. This is foolishness. Um this is pure foolishness. Okay. Now let me try it. Oh my goodness. Y'all. Hold on, hold on. Okay. Let me try this again. Okay. Now, it didn't even want to pull up the it didn't even want to let me open anything. Okay. Boom. Okay. Can everyone see now? I had to refresh my screen. I promise I am back. Okay, let me know if you can see the chart. Okay, looks like you all can see the chart. Perfect. Perfecto. Okay, Donna says yes. Okay. So this is the astrology chart of April 15th, 2013. So we are literally 9 years later. Okay, we are literally 9 years later. 9 years later. This happened on April 15th, 2013. Today is the 15th, 2024. We're 9 years later. And, one of the things that I have been finding as far as my theory is going on, that a lot of times we can see the potentiality for something terrible to happen. Okay. The thing about it is, for the most part, there are not people who regularly do the day-to-day astrology for places, for events, because I really personally feel as if there was an astrologer, or if the city had astrologers, or if the people planning the event had astrologers, that at least people could have been on the alert for something to happen. They could have been on alert. You may not know what exactly is going to happen, but at least you would be more prepared and not, doing something afterwards, right? So, my theory, okay, and getting into my theory, I know we talked about this on a private members and Patreon stream before, but I have a theory. And there are some astrologers who have picked up on this theory. This is just something that I have came up with myself over the past couple of months looking into astrology. It's something about it's something about and this isn't for everything. Like I said, I'm going to be showing you all over next presentations, but um it's just something about when Mercury is in Aries, it's something that just happens. It's usually something crazy going on. Do you all know that today is also the well, not even today, but it's something about April when the sun is in Aries and when Mercury is in Aries. It's something about these events, these triggering events, okay? These triggering events. Something about Aries. Now, it could be because Aries is, ruled by Mars, and that's the potentiality for destruction, action. That's the negative sides of that. But it's just something about it. It's just something about it. The 2013 Boston Marathon, if I'm correct, was the 20th anniversary of the Waco massacre. Okay. So this is just letting us know the energies behind some things. Okay. It's just letting us know the energy behind some things. Okay. So let's get into this chart. I literally have an hour. Let's get into this chart. So we can see we got a lot of action going on up there in the eighth house. Okay. Now I use whole signs, whole houses. For some people, it's the ninth house. For some people, it's the eighth house. But per my chart, this is the eighth house. Okay, we have the sun and we have Mercury. They are conjunct. Aries saves lives said we just be playing. But we have Aries, we have the sun and we have Mars. They are conjunct in Aries. Okay. They are conjunct in Aries. Now the sun is okay here in Aries, but what you need to understand is that the sun is exalted in Aries. So we have this exaltation of the sun in Aries. So things are really, really heating up right there. But the thing that really, really made sense to me about this chart was looking at Mercury. Mercury, okay, in the eighth house. So if we're looking here, Mercury, which is movement, when you have a marathon is about what? The marathon is about moving. Okay, there's running, there's movement. You're supposed to be fast. You're supposed to keep going. Mercury is here in Aries. Okay, well, Mercury travels through all the time. And again, when I start showing you these charts, you're going to see the signature. Mercury is here in Aries. So we have this is pretty much like this is enough explosive energy. Something is going to happen, especially we have our buddy right here. We have Mr. Uranus or Mrs. Uranus, because Uranus is androgynous, is right here. It's not quite a conjunction. There's a separation of 7 degrees, but there is enough energy here for these two to react with each other. So we have movement, speed, going fast, transportation by foot. And it's kind of a wide, it's 7 degrees. I like to keep my conjunctions at 4 to 5 degrees, but not really in conjunction, but there's enough energy there for the sudden events, the sudden chaotic energy of Uranus in Aries to react and make something happen with the Mercury. Okay? With the Mercury. Does that not sound like an explosive device. Explosive devices are sudden. Okay, this is sudden. And this couldn't say, oh my God, something is going to happen more than this, especially with the Mercury in the Aries. This is hothead energy. This hothead energy. Thank you so much, Mel, for gifting out a membership. And to whoever got the membership, I'm glad that you were lucky and that you got it. And I welcome you. Put a fam bam over here. Welcome to the coterie. So thank you so much, Mel, for being generous and sharing with us. But yeah, so we have sudden, chaotic. What's something that's fiery, sudden, chaotic that could potentially happen mixing with the energy of movement? They're reacting here in Aries, baby. This is not good. This is not good. This is not good. Being energized with, we got heat on top of heat with this Sun and Mars conjunction. It wasn't an exact conjunction. Okay, depending on the chart, my chart has them at conjunction a degree apart. But listen, this right here, and make no mistake about it, we unfortunately saw a loss of life. This is happening here in the eighth house. Okay, because at 249, 250, that is when, per the police reports, per the news articles, that's when the first bomb went off. So this is why the time is stamped at 249, 250 in Boston, Massachusetts. This is in the eighth house. Okay. The eighth house, okay, is a house of death. The eighth house is the house of death. So you mean to tell me Uranus out here being chaotic, out here doing what it's doing, shaking things up with Mercury? Uranus is here shaking things up in Aries. Mercury is here, and Mercury was not retrograde. Okay, Mercury was not retrograde. Mercury was direct. Okay, Uranus out here doing what it's doing, shaking things up, being chaotic and transformative here in a hot sign, which is ruled by Mars, the planet of aggression, with Mercury. Okay, movement. A marathon is movement, movement on foot, speed. Here in aggression with Mars at home in Aries, being heated up in this conjunction with the sun, and the sun is exalted in Aries in the eighth house of death. You cannot make this up. You can't make this up. You cannot make this up. You can't make this up. And again, the eighth house is the house of death. Guess what? The eighth house is ruled by Scorpio. Ruled by Scorpio. And Scorpio is ruled by who? Pluto and Mars. We're coming right back here to this angry, fiery energy. We're coming right back here to this angry, fiery energy. Yeah. Coming right back here to it. Right back here to it. Okay, even if you were looking at what's called like the final depositor with this whole situation, right? Okay, so any way we take it, it's going to lead back to Mars. Any way we look at it, it's going to lead back to Mars. Okay, so not Taurus, Saturn is in Scorpio. Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Mars is at home in Aries. Mars is at home in Aries. What's interesting about this is that, and something that I have found is that with a lot of these, let me let me look at my notes about these quote unquote this signature that I'm coming up with. With this signature that I'm coming up with, a lot of times, not always, Saturn is doing something in in a water sign. A lot of times Saturn is doing something in a water sign, um, which I found very, very interesting. Either a water sign or a fiery sign. And I found that very, 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 very interesting. Um, I found that very, very interesting in my quote unquote research here at home, looking into this. But yeah, and then we have Saturn here. We have Saturn here in the third house, and I got all these notes everywhere. Saturn here in the third house. Yeah. So a lot of this happening on the local level. Okay, third house is pointing to the local level, happening here in the local level. What's also interesting is that um what's also interesting that is that this is these people wanted to make these, because I was looking into the quote unquote bombers. One of them unfortunately was killed, but the other one is still alive. Right? The other one is still alive. I think he was on death row. I think death row was taken off the table, but I think President Biden wants, death row to be an option again for the remaining bomber. I have to look at the news stories again. But yeah, the third house is ruled by the third house this is Gemini. The third house is ruled by Mercury. Again, Mercury here in Aries. Mercury is here in Aries. Now, this isn't detrimental to Mercury or whatever, but this is just going. We have the two masculine signs, two masculine energies working together. We have air and we have fire here, and they're working together. They're working together. Okay. Then we have Jupiter here. This is pointing back to Mercury as well. Gemini. We just talked about Gemini. Jupiter in Gemini. So this was a time as well. If you think back to 2011, 2012, 2013, think about the explosiveness of how people were really seeing the internet make waves as it pertains to news stories. This was before the quote unquote fake news. This was before all the bots. This was when people were making their statements via the internet. If we're thinking about that, this is when this was happening. This is when this was happening. So we have this here. Jupiter is just expanding this energy here, right? Expanding this energy here. Again, expanding this mercurial energy, right? Now, one of the things that I had looked at too was we see Chiron here. Chiron is in Pisces. And when we're thinking about Chiron, this particular wound and how this wound, quote unquote, needs to be healed. Okay. We have seen a lot of, when it comes to quote unquote, and I'm trying to think, how can I say this as PC as possible? When we're thinking about quote unquote, um, this is not general across the board. When we think about religious attacks, when we think about people in certain backgrounds, right? Certain quote unquote bombings, things like that. If you kind of understand where I'm going with that, It's usually to make a point. It's usually religious zealot ideology. Okay. Chiron and Pisces, this is the wound that deals with the wound of faith and how people need to be healed through the paths of religion, spirituality, and even getting into some of that um, victimhood and victim blaming, right? Because so much, when we see so much or so many of, at least, in history, of these quote unquote religious harm done in the name of religion, this is the you're doing these things to me. We are oppressed. We need to fight back. So also understanding that this makes perfect sense with Chiron being in Pisces here. Now, one of the things that I will say didn't take too long, even though we have Neptune here in Pisces, and that's usually the murkiness of it. Um, these people were caught, quickly caught. Well, one person was caught, the other person ended up dying, right? Very quickly, but this person was caught. So I'm glad that we didn't have the murkiness of we don't know who these people are. This is a mystery, whatnot. Things were quickly taken care of as it pertains to that. But yeah, this right here, this if I were an astrologer and if I were looking at, I really think that in addition to certain techniques of seeking out or trying to prevent harm, I really do think there needs to be a multi-layered approach because I really feel that if there were and this is just my opinion, okay? I really feel like with as much as we're using technology, people are tracking social media, they're seeing these conversations and emails and stuff. I really feel like things potentially could have been better dealt with if there was an astrologer, you know, pulling up astrology charts for specific days and specific events as it pertains to something major. Like something major like this that draws a lot of crowd. No different from, you know, um when a president is sworn in, right? You have a lot of people. No different from, say like the Taste of Chicago in Chicago during that whole time span. Something where there's going to be a lot of people, where people are going to come out, where there's the potentiality for harm. I really feel like there should be layers of defense. Um, Look at all different ways to try and combat certain things because I really feel like a- an astrologer looking at this would see like, okay, we have a potential for some sudden chaotic event to happen here, happening, to the runners, happening to the participants, happening here. Let's check people with backpacks. You can't come in with a backpack. You can't, you know, uh, are we setting things up at the finish? Like, I really feel like this could have been, and I'm not saying could have been, hindsight is always 2020, but I really feel like when it comes to things in our lives, I really feel like we should be looking at a multi-layered approach when it comes to the prevention of harm um and other people. Because anyone looking at this can can see this here. Can see this here. Especially here in the eighth house. Like it doesn't get any more um to me, and this is just my my thought process. It doesn't get any more straightforward than that, especially when you have everybody here, this Uranus in Aries is squaring this Pluto. I mean, this is just energy of destruction. This is energy of transformation. This is energy of, maybe we should pay attention. Maybe we should pay attention, okay? Because Pluto Pluto has its energies alongside with with the ties to Scorpio, with the ties to death, with the ties to the transformation. Pluto has those energies there too. And this squaring off of this here, this is sudden events, things being manifested down here on earth. I mean, this is just this is an easy one. This is an easy one. Okay, the ascendant is in Virgo, ruled by Mercury, still pointing back to all of this energy happening here in Aries. All this energy happening here in in Aries. This is explosive. Okay, this is explosive, and again, this Saturn here. This is more. This is more death energy here. It really is, because Saturn is in Scorpio. Scorpio is what? Pluto energy and Mars energy. It really is. Donna says, "What is up with these planets that's dragging and drilling us? Lord have mercy for once." Yeah, yeah. I mean, listen, hindsight is going to be very much 2020, but there are astrologers out here who really do the day to day of looking at things. But the thing about it is, because astrology is not, it's not quote unquote an applicable science like biology or something like that. Um, it's not taken seriously. And I'm not telling people to take astrology seriously. But what I am saying is that when we go back and we're looking at these patterns, right? The patterns are usually on point. They're usually very, very correct. And, when we're assessing things, hindsight, right? I really, really feel like, it's funny because I saw a quote that's alleged to be by JP Morgan, right? And the alleged quote, this is JP Morgan allegedly saying that billionaires use astrology. Okay. That's supposedly the quote, something along those lines, that's alleged to be attributed to JP Morgan, saying that billionaires use astrology. Okay. So I wasn't there. I was not alive when JP Morgan was alive, but that, it's a quote attributed to him. And I say that to say that, there were many, many, and still are, in secret, there are many people who are using astrology and using all of the tools available to them, right? I'm not saying astrology is correct 100% of the time. Nothing really is. Um, but baby, many business people, kings and queens had their resident astrologers helping them out. And you'll say, yeah, Q, or we moved on past that. I don't think we have. I just think it just isn't talked about enough, but it's not, it's viewed in the lens of woo-woo, which is fine. But that woo will be on point at sometimes. That woo will be on point sometimes. So why not use all tools available to you, right? To kind of see things and figure things out. Hey, Leo lady, a soft place to land. Hey, growing process. Yeah, yeah. They definitely they're out here using so many different things, right? But I really feel like okay, like if if Q was part of um the safety committee for something like this, I would have been like, yeah, we want to make sure that we have such and such, such and such, such and such in place, because anyone looking at this are, um can see this is a potential. This is a potential right here for, you know, this is a potential. This is a potential. And like I said, the fact that and this is a fact, I'm not saying there's anything behind it, but I find it very, very interesting that, this unfortunate event took place, you know, on the 20th anniversary of something else terrible that happened in April. Um, like we have to start looking through history. We have to start looking through history and matching events up with certain signatures and correspondences, which is really all that astrology really is. It's looking at things. Yeah, Dashery says numerology too, big time. Yeah. Donna says, we've moved on from the regular public having access to it. The elites keep this knowledge for themselves, which is why they shove religion on us, but y'all not ready for that conversation. I mean, listen, I think that certain things are there for people who really want them. Like me, I started investigating a lot of things. I got some astrology software. I started looking into things. And I'm just like, okay, maybe there is something to, a lot of this. Yes, I work in woo woo. I work in the woo woo, but some of this is just like, okay, this is just too, some things are just too, too much of a coincidence for it to be anything else other than, Occam's razor. The most likely is what it is, right? But yeah. So, again, I don't know what it is. Based on my findings, I have found that a lot of times when the sun is in Aries and Mercury is in Aries, okay, there have been some BS happening. There has been some BS happening, especially as it pertains to um domestic terrorism. And I have one, two, three, four, five. I have at least five different cases that I can show you all. We're like, okay, this is starting to become a pattern. Starting to become a pattern. Starting to become a pattern. So yeah, I find it very, very interesting. Um, I find it very, very interesting. But yeah, again, this just my thought process on things. Um, just my thought process on it that I really feel like, um, yeah, a lot of these planets when they're in like these hot situations, yeah, it's really, really interesting. But yeah, so anybody have any questions about this? Like I said, I wasn't gonna be here long. I'm gonna try to come back to you all later on today. I have to finish getting the rest of my life together. But anybody have any questions about this? Again, I saw something about yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's something about that. It's something about that. I don't know if that's just Aries and Mars being Aries and Mars, but at this point, where is yeah. At this point, I'm probably not the first astrologer. I really don't consider myself an astrologer. Astrology is a lifelong thing. I'm just getting into it. But I'm seeing enough of patterns of things where I'm just like, okay, we need to have discussions about this. Did anybody have anything that they want to say? Any comments or anything like that? Yeah, because this is very, very interesting. And I'm talking about I was looking at cases and stuff. Um, I was looking at cases going back to the 1930s. 1930s here in the United States, and I'm still seeing the same thing. I was still seeing the same thing. Some of the same things, even going back to the 1930s here in the United States. So something is definitely with this type of energy. But again, we kind of saw that with the review of the video as it pertains to pandemics and Jupiter and and Saturn. So, you know. So yeah. Leah Lady says, how does one find out their moons and risings? You need to have your birth time, your birth date, and the time of birth. That is going to be able to calculate. That's how you would do that. So you need to know the time of birth or the time of the event, the exact time, because things change and move every hour. So, and degrees do matter. So yeah. So yeah, that's the answer to that question. I mean, I don't know, Donna. I don't. I hope not, but we're gonna see. The good part about it is we're gonna see. You're welcome, Leo lady. Yeah, you need to know the exact time. So, like I said, with the first, as it pertains to this, it was said that the first bomb went off just before 250. So 249, 250, you're pretty much gonna get the same. You're gonna get the same chart like this. So yeah, you need date, time, and location. Date, time, and location. Yeah, date, time, and location. So yeah, this is the first in line with my theory. This is the first one. Um, the first kind of presentation review in line with my theory of this dangerous situation, quote unquote, potential domestic terrorism slash bomb signature. This is the first, and then we're going to be pointing out again the similarities and the differences in them as I go through it. Um, but I figured today was a good day to kind of go over this and kind of outline the theory, being that today the Boston Marathon 2024 is taking place right now. Leah Lady says, are the charts available online? You have to, so you can go to there's free astrology software online, so like cafe astrology and stuff like this. But I am working with professional astrology software that I bought. So Astro Gold, you can buy Astro Gold yourself if you want to. I think Astro Gold is like $300, $300 if you want to buy it yourself and install it on your laptop or your desktop, your computer, or whatever. Otherwise, you can find like the free ones online. But you still need to have date, time, and location. Those are the three things that you need to pull up a chart, to get a chart going. So this is mine. This is my software, licensed to me. You see Eclectic Tarot there at the top. So this is licensed to me. Licensed to me. Licensed to me. So yeah. You're welcome, darling. You're welcome. Am I going to do a reading on America again? Well, I really haven't done a reading on America, at least from what I remember. But, there are certain things that, have a lot of us interested in looking at. I will say that as it pertains to the United States, I don't know if people are paying attention to what's happening over there in the Middle East. Okay, the players, right? Do I want the United States to go into war? No, I don't. But baby, Uranus, okay, Uranus is in Taurus right now. And usually, yeah, not usually, but for the most part, when Uranus hits Gemini, the United States is in war. So all them I countries over there, they acting up. The two I countries are over there acting up. Okay. I'm paying attention to the news. So, okay, so Donna says, so if they let's say plan a pepperoni, would we see this type of patterns versus the one we say during the last? We might. We might. Um we might. We definitely might. I mean, the thing about it is that I don't know how, but the energies line up. So I don't think there were people doing certain things with the energies. Um, when we were looking at that astrology video, like the what was it? That that pepperoni that happened in like 500 and something AD. I don't think people were doing anything back then. Powers that be were doing anything back then. You know, I don't think so. I really think some things are just a perfect storm, whether people are planning things or not. And the energies, it's just so happening that things are taking place within certain energies. So, I mean, the thing about it is, if we have quote unquote foreknowledge about it, what are we going to do about it? Right? Because as it pertains to the pepperoni, and per that lecture, things are, the next time we're going to see something like that is going to be what she say, 2045. So we have almost 20 years to kind of figure things out or get our ducks in a row. We don't know what the world is going to look like by then, but you know, just know that astrologers are looking at things. Hey girl, how you doing? Candy Cane, how you doing, girl? So yeah, um, yeah. But the United States, again, like with the US chart, the United States is experiencing its first Pluto return. And, because this country ain't that old. And like I said, we're really looking at, Uranus heading into Gemini. Now, I will say that later on this month, like within a week, barely, Uranus and Jupiter are going to be conjunct, right? And that's something that a lot of astrologers are looking at. Um, yeah, because Uranus being in Taurus is at fall. Uranus does not like being in Taurus. So Uranus doesn't like being in Taurus. And then we have Jupiter to expound whatever's going to happen with the chaos and the shaking up of Uranus and Taurus, because that conjunction is happening on April 20th / April 21st in Taurus, where they're going to be together at about 21 degrees, and that's really going to be the biggest thing astrologically for the year, because Uranus conjunct Jupiter in Taurus only happens every now and then. It's not something that occurs often. So we gonna see. Uranus just coming through, just knocking shit over like Uranus normally does. So we gonna see. No, I ain't seen that. I haven't seen that. I have not seen that. No, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that. So yeah, we have to see. Uranus, Jupiter and Uranus conjunct in Taurus. Hopefully, we won't have any issues with our resources or stuff like that. But we gonna see. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. So yeah. With that being said, like I said, I wasn't gonna be here long. This is just the first in the series of I'm bringing my theory to the forefront. Um, bringing my theory to the forefront. So, bringing my theory to the forefront. This was April 15th, 2013. I have many more like this to review with you all. So, with that being said, if there are no questions or anything like that about it, I'm gonna get off of here, and I will see y'all in the next one. Again, it feels good to be back. I'm sorry I was gone for so long, but that's what family does. They come and take over your life when they're visiting. So, um yeah, for more of my astrological content, I do have the astrology playlist if you kind of want to look through that and see. I have to. Now I have to. I'm gonna start looking at Shirley Strawberry's astrology chart. So we're gonna see what's in there. So stay tuned for that. I might have to pull I might have to pull a couples chart on her and Nesto. But first I gotta get through her astrology chart. So just be on the lookout for that. What's going on with Shirley Strawberry and her astrological chart, because we already saw that Nasty Nesto is who we thought he is. It just is what it is. Um, so yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I love you all. Thank you all for being here. And I'm gonna see y'all around. Q was back. Yeah. You say you can't wait for Shirley's? Yeah. Yeah. I started looking at Shirley's chart and then I was getting anxious. I was like, I don't want to potentially see anything here that just shows that Shirley is dumb. So I started looking at the chart and then I stopped because I'm just like, I don't want the chart to say that she's dumb. So I created the chart, but I haven't started analyzing it yet because I really don't want it to be that she's dumb. I don't know what's gonna be worse for her being dumb or her being knowledgeable and potentially okay with this per the chart. Because I already did my reading on Shirley. I already did my reading on Shirley. Did the reading on Nesto, did the reading on Silly Sonia, right? So we just gotta see right now. The reading I did on Nesto matches up with his astrology chart. So, I'm kind of scared to do her chart. I'm kind of scared to look at her astrology chart, her natal chart, because baby, I don't want it to say that she's just dumb. I think I would be heartbroken, that she's dumb. So, I made the chart. I haven't analyzed it yet. So when I get done analyzing it, you please believe we're gonna discuss. Please believe we're gonna discuss. Hey girl. Thanks, love joy. Yeah, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Like it's not funny because, like I said, I would really hate for her to give Chicago a bad rep because it say that she's from Chicago. So I would really hate for her to give Chicago, an even worse rep than what Chicago already has, right? So I would really hate for it to say that baby she dumb and she easily manipulated, even though that might be better than her knowing and putting up with it. I don't know. I'm not there yet. I calculated the chart. I just haven't started analyzing yet because I got anxious and I was just like, Lord, please don't let her be dumb per this chart. Lord help us out. So when I get around to it, I'm gonna look because woo cha. I'm gonna look when I get around to it. So we gonna see. So yeah, I'm gonna be back either later on today or I will be back tomorrow. Um, so yeah, it's either gonna be later on today or it's gonna be tomorrow. But I'm glad that I'm back. I'm glad that I'm here with you all. Um, just know I love y'all and I missed y'all. All right, so I'm gonna go. Let me end this and I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Bye.